ready?
Yes. Fancy tea.
It's tea time. Okay, I will serve the tea now. Today we are
Why, thank you.
drinking. If you want to pass that along.
Okay, yep.
Thanks.
Thank you. Good steep. Here,
Oh, it's just
I
a
should
thing.
leave this right down here too.
Oh yeah, it does need a steep, doesn't it? Okay.
I'll just
Okay.
dip my tea bag.
I'll do the intro now. Okay. Welcome to another episode of Tea Time with Barclay. Oh, this is not steeped yet. Okay. Bleep, bleep, bleep.
Yeah, just a few little.
Bleep, bleep, bleep. Bleep, bleep. Okay, so today's tea is, it's called Maple Cream Oolong, and it's by Dark Moon Tea Room, and you can find this tea at the Oracles and more, and it's a cool vendor spot. They have all kinds of metaphysical items as well as art. You should go check it out. Anyways, this is delicious tea. Yay. Today we are here with Arman Sikder
Yep.
of Ex Machina and Luke Lightfoot. Arman is releasing a new album, his 5th album, and he will be doing an album release on January 11th at 6 p.m. at Mycelium Gallery. Mark your calendars. And Luke is doing some projection art to go along with the music that he's playing. So for the tickets for the album release, there's going to be 3 tiers. So the first tier is $5, second tier is $10, and the third tier is $25. Can you school us on what those tiers include?
Totally. So the $5 ticket just lets you enjoy the night. So we'll have all kinds of mocktails, music. We'll have obviously the new music, and then we'll have projections, visuals, a lot of cool stuff. If you just want to enjoy the night, the $10 ticket comes with a piece of artwork. It's a nice, shiny, hollow piece of artwork of the poster with all of our signatures on the back, which I won't show you for legal reasons. No, I'm just kidding. And then we have the $25 ticket that comes with the cassette as well, and the art and the entry fee as well. So if you just want to buy one cassette and then entry fee, for the rest of the friends, you could do that too. But there's only a limited amount of cassettes. There's only 30 total made. 10 of those have already been reserved. So 20 of them will be available on the night. And then after that night, everything will be available in the gallery store. So.
And you can find the tickets on myceliumgallery.com under the events page on our website. Okay, so let's go into the album. First of all, you have a record label, and it is called, what's it called?
It's called Distant Ether.
Yes. And you have made your own genre of music, and you call it Dark Lo-Fi Glitch. Describe what this sounds like.
Yeah, so it's definitely evolved over the last few years. And just to kind of give the preface, I started the label in about 2021, in June 2021, and it originally started as like me trying to create a flavor of music while I try to edit like photos, videos, things like that, just my daily life, just to create something so I can just focus. And at that time is when I really got into lo-fi music. And so after studying lo-fi music, there was something still yearning. Like I needed to like get a little bit more out of it. And so I just started to try to produce my own version of lo-fi. And from my previous experience in like producing house and techno music, I kind of brought in like these glitchy elements with the lo-fi beats, and then started to kind of merge both of those together. And so that's like the lo-fi glitch part, but the dark part is my favorite part of music is just playing in like the minor tones, and so I like the really ominous feel, the dark feeling, and just the sad feeling, because I don't know why, but it makes me happy when I when I listen to music like that, because it really just hits a chord in a way where it really just makes me like the music. Because these days you have like all kinds of pop music that's like super happy and stuff, and it's just like not my cup of tea, if you will.
Cup of tea.
You know what I mean? And so I honestly enjoy just creating things outside of the box, like lo-fi music, but with the dark, glitchy elements. And
Yeah,
yeah. So
that's
it's
very-
it's gone far since then. So,
Yeah, yeah. So it definitely has developed, and from what I've heard and experienced with listening to your music, it's kind of like you zone out almost, or zone in, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. Hey, whatever.
Or
However way
in
you
and
wanna
out,
zone.
glitching out. Okay, yeah. Cool. So what kind of equipment do you use in your music?
So when I produce the music, it's usually, if I'm not recording something, like I'll normally get sounds from either my environment, or I'll create it just by making random sounds, and then I'll record it, and then I'll make my own sample packs to essentially build like this bass line, and then once I've gotten like the sounds that I enjoy, I just kind of produce.
Yes.
Yeah, so I produce primarily in Ableton, so that's the software I use. So I'll create all of my sounds within there, and then I'll actually like render out the music for my live sets. And so once I have the actual music that I could perform, all of the stuff, like all at the Mycelium Gallery events or any event that I'm performing at, all of that stuff is like my music but just remixed live. So I'll do a lot of where I'm dropping pitch like 8 semitones, 12 semitones, or reversing things, adding glitchy effects live on top. And so if you listen to my music on streaming platforms, it sounds very different from what you get at the live sets, which I enjoy, honestly, because every
Yes.
time you listen to any of the live sets on YouTube, for example, like they're 2, 3, 4 hours long, but they're always different from the last.
And you have your own YouTube channel.
Yes.
Is it under Ex Machina?
Yep.
Okay. Yes. And so you record other sounds, and I think, do you use other sounds that other people send you to?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes, like, for example, some of the gallery events, like, will have people send me sound samples and things that they want, and then we'll just fit those in, textural sounds, maybe blips of things. I mean, sometimes like, whenever I'm just doing jam sessions, like at my house, for example, a lot of my friends will get together, and then we'll just start throwing random sounds at my machine, and then just seeing what we can create, and then we'll make like a 4 or 5 hour set of just all kinds of wonky stuff, and I love it.
That's awesome. And you have made some skins, is what I'm calling them, for your equipment. So you've kind of included the visual art within your music. So this kind of goes around the equipment piece.
Yeah, so this is for the SP404 Mark II, and this is what I've been primarily using to perform at pretty much every single event. Any YouTube video you see of me performing, you'll see these machines in there, and it honestly makes the live performance aspect so cool. But creating like a personalized skin was one of the things that I wanted to do, and honestly, like all of the designs you see are made by me, so I'll just make them in Procreate, and then I've got some like graphics and things that one of my buddies made. But yeah, I mean, we just try to piece together like different customized units for any SP404 that, if anyone wants to swap theirs out, we got
Cool.
them here.
Sweet. And then you do other visual arts as well. So you have made the poster that for your release party. You make these cool coloring pages, which are very meditative to color. Lots of little things.
So many things.
And then you've also decorated the cassettes. And so tell me a little bit about what role visual arts plays in your music.
Yeah, so honestly, it all started with the first album. So I have my first 3 albums, Equinox, A World Without, and then Sunshine Suicides. Those 3 albums, I did photography for the album cover, and that was like right before I really tried my hand at visual art. And then soon after that is when I started doing stuff at the gallery, and honestly being here has been pretty inspiring because every time I look around I'm like, how do they make this? And so over time I'm like, okay, well maybe I can just do what I do with my music and how I feel with my music and make that into like something visual. And so just like how I go with the flow with some of my sounds and be really articulate with certain things, I do the same thing with my line work. Is I just free flow and then I'll just do like a lot of detailed lines, and then eventually it becomes like one of these pieces here. And so
Yeah.
when I did like the album art, so the album art actually and the album is called Phantom of the Ether, by the way, and the actual character is the Phantom, and essentially it's a resemblance of, if anyone's familiar, anime called Evangelion, and it's like one of my favorite all-time animes, and it goes pretty in depth with a lot of tropes, but the main creature or character has like this very ominous lanky body look, and I don't know, it's just very compelling. And so I took that frame and essentially just did my artwork and line work within it just to create different pictures and feelings in each one of those like facets of the image. And so you have, if you like look at one section, you'll see a bunch of stuff, and then just kind of look around and you can kind of get lost into it. And that's kind of how I want people to feel with my music too. So it really did resemble that when I created it.
So there's like this massive amount of detail, but that's only one part of the big whole.
Whole picture, exactly.
Yeah, cool. Collaborating is the main, thing that we like to do here at Mycelium Gallery. So how, speaking of collaborating, you will be collaborating with Luke here.
The one and only.
And you will be making some, or you have made, some video projections to go along with Arman's music here. And so, Luke, I have some questions for you about your video projections.
Okay.
When did you become interested in projection?
So I've done art for a really long time, like forever, basically. And actually, my degree is in art from Oklahoma City University, and I did like painting and printmaking and drawing and stuff like that. And then I just stopped for years and years and years and just did stuff on my phone. So, and it's to the point now with technology that you can make things on your phone that are, I think, good enough to show. Mm-hmm. And also just my work has evolved to the point where I think, oh, this is actually good enough to show people.
Cool.
I've been working on it since they came out with filters on your phone, and it's taken me a long time to come up with something that I really like.
Cool. And you did some projection for our crow-themed art show during Halloween, which was really cool. So there was like some layers involved, and this one was like a 3D video.
Yeah. So whenever you guys invited me to do a show here, I was like, oh wow, like maybe this could be a little bigger, like maybe I could do more. Mm-hmm. So I really have put a lot of time in it, like hours and hours and hours, like just doing nothing but twiddling my thumbs on my phone since then. And I guess right before then, I met this guy named Todd Clark, who is he's an artist and works with Factory Obscura and is a really good guy. And he does 2D, like he does paintings and prints, things like that, where he uses these 3D glasses to view it. And so I was like, wow, I wonder if I can do that with videos. And that one at the Crow Show was the first one that I did wearing the glasses to create the video.
Cool.
So it was meant to be 3D.
Yeah, I love inspiring art. That's always great. And do you use any of your own drawings or paintings in your videos?
Yeah, so because I've used my phone for art for so long, I have a lot of content on there, and I'll go back and take things from that and incorporate them into the videos. And I kind of
Cool.
am constantly making things. So.
Yeah. How does music play a part in what you create?
I think the music is, for these videos, it's really necessary, and it really matters what you're listening to, because whatever you listen to while you're watching these videos pops, and you focus on it. So if you listen to Arman's music while you're watching these videos, I think it's just a perfect fit, and part of it is, I mean, I just love his music, and I like how like there are no messages as far as like you should be this way or that way. I feel like we're just constantly getting sold to and told how to think and feel and everything, and it's nice to have more ambient music.
Yeah.
So I will listen to a track, and then I'll put the track first a lot of the time, and then I'll create the video over it. And sometimes it's backwards, but I'm usually listening to something while I'm doing it.
Cool. And I noticed like you do a lot of like layering in your videos.
Yeah.
Tell us kind of how you layer things, or like.
Well, it's so the layering, I think it adds a lot of depth, but it's also just metaphorically, I feel like it's very close to reality, as far as you can't know everything that's going on, and so it's very difficult to make to have any kind of whole knowledge about any one particular subject or event or anything like that. So it's almost like you're looking through things sometimes, and you're just seeing part of it. And I feel like that's really close to reality.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the reasons I like it.
Cool. Awesome. So I'm excited to see this collaboration happening in real life. What can people expect from the event, from the album release?
Well,
It's kind of a broad question. I don't know.
at least for the music, I think it's going to be pretty neat to have. Let's just say the event's going to start at 6, and for the first hour, I'll be playing a lot of my older music just to kind of flow into the album release music. And then at 7, we're going to start the album. And this first set of me playing this album live is not going to be like a chopped and screwed version of like my album. I want it to be true to what it really is. And so a lot of what you'll hear for that album release section will be exactly what you'll hear, but just me DJing it live, but doing some, edits here and there, but just not straying too far from the path. But obviously, over time, once you see more of the gallery events, I'll be going pretty saucy with some of the stuff. But
Cool.
yeah, for the music though, that's how it's gonna be, and the projections are gonna be running, I believe, the whole time. So
Cool.
we're just, because
Yeah.
Luke's got like literally hours of amazing visuals, honestly.
And did you make the video while you were listening to this specific album, or just his music in general, or?
Really just his music in general.
Cool.
I've heard part of his album and I like it a lot, but with the software I was using, it was just difficult to play, and it was hard for me to import it. It would have been a long process.
Right. Okay. That
So
makes sense.
I just used stuff off of his old albums, which are really good too. So.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, I always like creating while listening to your music. One more question. So does this experience of collaborating, like, does it make you view your art differently or what you're creating differently, and how?
So I definitely think that this year, or 2025 in general, was going to be my year to build more bridges. Because I think the last few years, after I started this project, there hasn't been a lot of like, hey, let's work together kind of deal. So it's really, I've been able to create a sound that really works for me, but I don't have the external knowledge of like what everybody loves until I put it out in the world, right? And so that's why I usually try to create with other people that have different tastes. And that's why, even with Luke, it's like we're creating pieces. Even he creates, like, takes some of my tracks and like slows them down to make them sound so different that I've never even expected them to sound that way. But it's the music, right? But it's just the frequencies and playing with them like paint, and seeing what somebody else can do with the paint. It's pretty neat, and so that's kind of been the high I've been riding lately, is just to see, okay, hey, this is what I've created, these are my paints, like, what kind of picture can you make with it?
And I really like how Arman is so open to criticism and things like that. And I haven't had anything in the public in a long time, so I was kind of nervous about that and just about like how I would react to criticism and stuff. And he told me, he gave me some good advice, asking for advice, and I would like for him to offer that up to
Yeah,
Cool.
all right, some golden nuggets. All right, so
Sweet.
honestly, this is like, it is very difficult to take, and I'll be real with anybody, like when you hear feedback from somebody, it's either going to feel good or it's going to hurt. Like there's no in between, right? And so one of the ways that I see it is, if you put your art out there and somebody reacts to it in any way, whether it's positive or negative, you're still getting that reaction that you were working for, right? And that is data that you can work on to make your next piece, right? Whether you want to take that information or not, how somebody feels about it, you've evoked an emotion, you've already won. Like that's end of
Right.
story. Like if
No
somebody
matter
thinks,
what it
oh, it's
is.
not good,
Yeah.
it's like, thank you. Like, thank you. You listened to it. That's amazing. Like that honestly is 98% of the battle, is when you can put your stuff out there and you can let somebody really react to your piece. Because if that part never happens, I personally think that you won't grow as an artist, because you don't really know. It's like think about it this way. So you're trying to get from here to there, right? In a pitch black room. Every time you release a piece of work to the world, imagine a lighter that you flick that has no gasoline, but you can still see the spark, right? But you can see your surroundings just for a moment. And every time you flick that lighter, every time you release a piece of art, that's what's happening. You're seeing the room for a moment, and then you know where to go next, right? And that's how I perceive my art, is I just flick the lighter every time. Every time I let it out there, flick it.
Yeah.
All right, that's where I gotta go.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Cool. That makes, yeah. It makes me want to give advice more, or like tell someone how I feel about what they're creating too. And there's ways to have criticism without, totally like dogging on something.
Yeah. I also asked though, when somebody shows me a piece of their work, I genuinely ask them, like, do you want to hear my reaction, or would you like to hear, my critique, right? But I say obviously in a nicer way, but it's like I give them the option, because I know as an artist, it's like you have to be ready to take that feedback, criticism, and if you're not, it's gonna take you into a weird direction. And that's what happened to me the first time. And honestly, so this is another thing that I talk about a lot. So when I first started this whole like Ex Machina project, I released my first album to a record label, and I had so high hopes for it, and I got denied so fast, saying it wasn't good enough, this and that, and I went into like this weird negative like spiral, right, for like 2 weeks, and I didn't realize what it was until I was like, wow, I'm like putting all of my emotion into this one decision, when I can just make my own label, release my own stuff, create my own flavor, and then do it myself and say I did it. And I've been doing that ever since, and it's been so much healthier for my mental. It's been so much more fulfilling, honestly.
Awesome.
So.
Cool. Did you want to add something?
Yeah, I don't remember.
Okay. Sorry. Awesome. So, is there anything else that you want to ask, or?
I'll try to remember what I was gonna say.
Okay.
Yeah, honestly, I'm super stoked to just merge both visual and music together, like in an event where
Yeah.
people can really experience it.
Yeah, and we'll have the lights low during the event, and there'll be plenty of places to sit and watch the video, and it'll be a chill vibes.
Oh,
And
I don't know what I wanted to say.
Cool.
I've also tried this out with family and friends who have young kids, like 3. Well, really, I've tried age groups like 3 to 90, and I've gotten good reactions. And I don't know if it's because they're being nice to me because they're friends and family, but I think it's something that that children also can enjoy. That is not
Cool.
sending them messages that you don't have control over. You know, so I
Right.
think that's kind of a positive thing for
yeah,
parents.
it's kind of like a neutral
Yes.
thing.
Yeah.
Cool. Awesome. We're excited for the album release and to witness this cool collaboration happening. If you want to check out this album release, it is going to be on January 11th at 6 p.m. at Mycelium Gallery. You can buy tickets online at myceliumgallery.com under the events page. And they range from $5, $10, or $25. Yeah, if you want to check this out, come on by. Yeah. Thanks for watching.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thanks for being here and answering questions
Yes, of course.
awkwardly.
Thank you for the tea as well, by the way.
Yeah.
Very good.
Thank you to Dark Moon Tea Room. Very delicious maple cream oolong. Bye.
Hooray!
Cheers.
Cheers!
Clinkies.